You can do anything for 30 days, 6 weeks, maybe even you could push it out to 12 weeks. Absolutely anything. If you've got a big enough reason why and enough motivation, I firmly believe that the majority of people can do that. And in fact, I had someone say that to me the other day. They're like, oh, a program can't be that full on, can't be that hard. I can do anything for 6 weeks. And I stand by it. I agree with that statement. I wholeheartedly believe that this person could do anything for 6 weeks. They could grit it out, they could grind it out and really make a change. The problem is, and the catch is, that most people can muscle it through on this because they go, well, it's only another 6 weeks, another 5 weeks, another 3 weeks, another 1 week, and then I get to go back to life as normal. And I will admit, this is part where I struggle with this whole process as a concept. Because it's the 6 weeks, the 30 days, the 90 days, 12 weeks, whatever the fuck gets you started. That you need that at the beginning to convince yourself, to get yourself into the headspace that, yeah, you can make that change, you can do that. But the problem becomes what happens on the back end. And as I said, this is why I struggle with it, because I love it. I'm all for it. Hell, it's what my program is about. Chasing Greatness Daily, the initial program of the Greatness World, is about 6 weeks of just going in and getting fucking stuck in. That's the whole point, because it gets you initiated into the program. It gets you started. And to be honest, whatever gets you across the line to begin with, whatever gets you in motion to begin with is what matters. The question becomes on the back end of that. The question becomes what happens after that. And I'm hoping, and I've seen it before, and it's why we do it this way, is that people along the way go, maybe I should continue this. Maybe I should keep going down this path. Maybe I need to make these changes permanent because my life is so much better. But a large majority of people never reach that point. They never get to that stage because they're always focused on this short-term burst. They're always focused on here and now, and then I can return. As I said, anyone can grind out anything for a set period of time. Usually because on the back end, they're planning to return to normal. But, well, let's be real here. If you were happy with where you're at, if you were happy with the life that you were leading right here, right now, why would you change? Why would you need to change? You know, if you look at your life and go, fuck yeah, my life is perfect, mwah, fucking love it. There is nothing that needs to change about my life. You know what I'm going to go, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take on a challenge that's radically going to alter how I live my life. No, you would just continue to live life as is. You would just continue as you are. Because why would you drastically alter your life if you love it? You wouldn't. The reason why you change or take on a challenge or take on a 30-day, 60-day, 90-day program is because there is something wrong in your life. There is something missing. We don't drastically alter our life for no apparent reason. Nobody does that. Nobody does that. It would be fucking insanity to be like, I'm just gonna tip my life upside down for the hell of it. We would look at someone whose life is perfect, who makes a drastic change and go, what's going on underneath? What's wrong in their life? So if you're making a change because you're unhappy with an aspect of your life, which, let's be real, is why you're making the change, because it also needs to be bad enough for you willing to change. It's the paradox of how dire the situation is. It's the concept of, for example, how far would you walk? Okay, so if, for example, you want to go to someone's house or you want to go to the shops and it's 1 kilometer away, you'd probably go, well, I could walk that. That's not too far, that's not worth driving, I'll walk that. But at what point does it kick over from that? 1.5 Ks, 2 Ks, 3 Ks. Even if we said it was 3 Ks, okay, now you're going to drive it. You'd still get there a hell of a lot faster than if you'd walked the 1K. But there's a point of inconvenience, there's a point of pain, a point of uncomfortability that we go, this option is no longer the acceptable option. Now I need to take the next option. And the same comes to changing your life, that even if you aren't happy with where you are, if it's okay, if it's all right, if it's not that bad, you might not love it, you might not think it's the greatest thing ever, you might not be completely satisfied with where you are in life, but if it's good enough, the majority of people will not change. They need there to be such severe pain for them to go, I'm actually going to do the change. I'm actually going to make myself fucking uncomfortable and do the work. Because let's be realistic. Generally speaking, and this is a generalization, I know there will always be exceptions to the rule, but generally speaking, more often than not, very few people will change for pleasure. Very few. Very few will go, my life's pretty fucking good, but I want to make a really big change to make it really fucking good. And even if they do, they're more likely to quit because depending on how uncomfortable, how much effort, how much work is required to reach the next level will determine how much they value the positive thing, the Paradise Island, the heaven, Holy Grail, whatever the fuck you want to call it. How much do they value it? And usually there is a threshold of pain that they go, achieving that is probably not worth the extra effort required. But if you're in pain, if you look in the mirror every morning and you fucking hate the man that you see, and you see your gut hanging over your pants, and you look at your man tits and your daughter's saying to you, Daddy, why do you have bigger boobies than Mummy? If you are unable to participate with your children, you are unable to do the things that you want to do. Every time you go to play with your kids, you feel old and pathetic and like, what is going on? Then you have to see the look of disappointment in your children's eyes because you can't play the games that they want to play. Not because you don't want to, but because you are physically incapable of. That's a fucking driver. If you look into their perfect little eyes and you go, shit, I could die. If I don't change something, I'm gonna die and leave that perfect little angel behind. Now you've got a fucking reason. That's a, stick up the ass. That's a fucking red hot poker up the ass. You are going to figure it the fuck out on how to get that shit done. You are going to figure out how to get out of that pain. And it would take such an immense amount of discomfort and pressure and workload for you to go, it's not worth it to do that. And that's the gap. That, yeah, you would take that on. But then comes the other side of it all. That, well, you do the work. You push forward. You push into what is required. You sacrifice things. And you get out of pain. And now we're in that pleasure gap again. Now we're in that gap again of, well, that pain and the shit that was driving me forward isn't really there. You know, that monster on my back that was whipping me and chasing me down, he's not there anymore. Yeah, I'm not completely satisfied with the man in the mirror, but hey, he's a hell of a lot better than he was. Hey, he's not bad. Yeah, this'll do. This is good enough. And so that motivation dries up. It's why, you know, on a short-term spectrum, those short little programs, those 30, 60, 90-day programs are really fucking effective in the short term. In the long term, it is not getting you to where you need to be. It is not pushing you to actually change who you are. It's not pushing you outside of your comfort zone. It's not pushing you to be the man that you need to be to make the changes and go, this is who I am now. And that's the problem. And I'm not saying on day one that you need to go, well, I'm willing to give up and sacrifice everything that I am now to become the man that I want to be. Because I don't think you have it in you. And I didn't have it in me either. Like, that's not a criticism, that's just a statement of fact. That when I started this journey, all I did for the first 126 days was fitness. All I did was go for a weighted walk with 10% of my body weight every single day. I did a weighted workout every single day. I did an animal-based diet. I ate meat, fruit, and sweet potato. I drank 4 liters of water a day, and I took a daily photo. That's it for 126 days. That was already a large enough commitment. You can't then tack on the, oh, well, I'm just going to completely change who I am as a person forever onto that. It's unrealistic. You aren't going to do it. You are not going to follow through. But you have to at least, in the smallest part at the back of your head, go, if this works and I feel better, maybe I need to redefine who I am. Maybe those things that I was doing aren't worth it anymore. And I'm not saying commit to the whole process right now. I'm not saying dive full force in. You can if you want, and that's fantastic. But I'm saying you have to be open to the possibility. So that when you get to the end of the 6 weeks and you go, fuck, I am a different man to the man who started this. I am a different man who showed up on day one. Maybe I should continue. And then you commit for a little bit longer, and then you commit for a little bit longer. And until one day you wake the fuck up and go, I'm not pretending anymore. I'm not wondering if I can be that guy. I just am that fucking guy. I am now a man of my word. I'm a man who is strong, fit, and confident. I'm a man who works out every single day. I am a healthy man. I make healthy choices. I make choices around being the greatest version of myself. You make these decisions. You make these choices. This is what we're working towards. This is what we are chasing. That you have to be open to striving to be the greatest version of yourself and making that decision every single day. Act as if. Fake it till you make it. Whatever you want to call it. But you need to live as if you're going to be that guy. When you're called upon to make decisions, ask the question, what would the greatest version of myself do? What would the greatest version of me do in this situation? Would he eat the chocolate cake, or would he choose not to? Would he go out for beers with the boys, or just have water? What would he fucking do in those situations? What would the greatest version of me do in this situation? And look, I think if you have kids, it gives you this extra edge, because on the days when I feel weak, and there are plenty of them, don't get it twisted that, just because I've passed the 300-day mark, that I am any fucking different than you. No, I am the same as you. I've just been doing this longer. I have the same fears, I have the same resistance, I have the same issues that arise. I have all of those things. I have just been doing it longer than you. I just made that commitment over 300 days ago And I just kept showing up. I didn't worry about 300 days down the line. I didn't worry about a year down the line, or 2 years, or 5 years, or the rest of my life. I worried about fucking today, about winning this day, winning this moment, making the decision in this moment. That is all I fucking worried about. Right here, right now. Who can I be? How can I win today? Is this progressing me towards the man that I say I want to be? Yes, no. I made it really fucking simple. And I just do that every single day, day in, day out. I don't think about the end goal. I don't think about the end destination. I just think about right here, right now. Am I being the greatest version of myself? And as I said, there are many days where I feel weak, when I am tired, when I am exhausted, and I start to wonder, is this worth it? Is this worth enough? Is putting in this much effort, sacrificing quote unquote things that are fun, aka dopamine chasing, as we've discussed many times, things that don't actually fucking serve you. But is it worth sacrificing those things to be the greatest version of myself? That is the question that needs to be asked. That is the question that I ask myself. And there are days where I legit ponder it and go, oh, is it? Is it worth it? And then I think of my children. There are days actually when I go play with them. When I go, it's like, let's go outside to remind myself. And I push them on the swings, or I lift them up, or I throw them around, or we play horsey rides, or whatever the fuck it is. I pick them up and spin them around. And I go, yeah, it is. I look into their perfect little innocent faces where I know that daddy is their hero. And I go, yeah, there is no price that is too high for them. There is nothing in this world that is too high for them. I am willing to give it all. I am willing to sacrifice everything that doesn't allow me to be the greatest version of myself, that doesn't allow me to show up as the best I can be for them. Because yeah, I forget. Yeah, I question it. But they remind me. And they don't know. They have no idea. All they do is love. And love without question, without thought process, without any complications. It is just, you are my dad and I love you. And for that privilege, for that honor, it is my obligation to be the greatest version I can be. And that's how I honestly view it. That it is your duty, your honor, and your obligation to be the greatest version of yourself. To sacrifice the things that do not serve you. To put aside everything that is not going to progress you forward to being the best version of yourself. Because one day those kids will figure out who you are. They will realize that you weren't this fabled creature that they called daddy, this mythical legend who could do no wrong. They will recognize you for who you were. So back up their stories. Live a life so fulfilled and so complete that they go, yeah, Dad was that man. Dad was that guy. He was everything he said he was and more. He embodied it. He led by example. He wasn't just talk, he walked the walk. That's the story I want told. Forget the rest of the world. Forget everything else. I want, at my eulogy, at my deathbed, my children to be proud of their father because of the man he was and how he loved them and showed up for them. That would hands down be my greatest achievement in life, if I could have that. And so that's what I think about when I am weak, when I am doubting myself, when I question if I can continue on. I think of them and I think about making them proud and allowing them the opportunity to learn from my example, to be the best version of themselves, to learn from my life, because it's not what you say, it's who you are that they will pick up on. It's not the things you tell them to do, it's the life that you embody that allows them to work out who they're going to be. Especially if they're still young, especially if they're sub 5 or even sub 10, that they're going, that's what a man does, that's what dad does, that's what a provider does. These are the things he does. And they're just tucked away as a file in their brain, as that's how you should live. That's how you should love. That's how you should show up. That's how you look after others, is by looking after you. Not in a selfish way, but in the selfless way, that you are the best version of yourself. That's how you show up as the best version of yourself. So yeah, it might just be 30 days. It might just be 60 days or 6 weeks or 90 days or whatever the fuck it might be. But in the back of your head, you need to have this awareness that maybe, just maybe, you need to make this decision permanent. That maybe, just maybe, reverting back to the things that got you to the place that you fucking hated isn't a smart choice. In fact, it's probably the definition of insanity. Repeating the same thing over and over and over again and expecting a different outcome. It might be the stupidest thing under the sun. So maybe it's time to recognize that, to have a paradigm shift, to think about where you are currently at and where you want to be. And what is it going to take for you to get there? And what are you willing to sacrifice for it? Because if you want that life, if you want to lead that life that you keep talking about, then what is it going to take? And how much are you willing to give up? Because if the answer is nothing, then you don't truly fucking want it. I get people in and they're like, oh no, I'm not willing to do that. No, I'm not willing to do that. No, I'm not willing to do that. Then you don't actually want it. Oh yes, I do. It means everything to me. Then fucking prove it. Show that it means everything to you. Because right now, all I'm seeing is noise. All I'm seeing is you talking a whole load of bullshit and not actually backing it up. Because you can talk all you want. Yeah, you can do 30 days. Yeah, you can do 6 weeks. Yeah, anybody can probably do it and they could fucking grind it out. But it's all fucking noise until you do something about it. Until you take action. And then at the end of the 6 weeks, take a step back. Actually evaluate how far you've come. How much you have changed and who you are on the back end of being that man. And ask yourself the question, is this man worth fighting for? Is this man worth continuing on, continuing to do the work for? Are the people in your life worth being that version of you for? Because I know damn well that my wife deserves the best version of me. My children deserve the best version of me. My clients deserve the best version of me. The people that I serve deserve the best version of me. You deserve the best version of me. So therefore, I need to do whatever it takes to be the greatest version of me. So that I can be that. So that I can show up as that version. That is what's required. So, as you're considering this, as you're walking yourself through, take on the 6 weeks. Come join Chasing Greatness Daily, because I wholeheartedly, firmly believe with everything in my soul that you can complete it for 6 weeks. And that on the back end of that 6 weeks, you will be a very, very different man. That you will be in a different class to who you have been. And I do firmly believe that if you are truly truly honest with yourself and truly honest about where you're wanting to get to and where you're wanting to head to and the life that you want to leave and how much value you place on those around you and those that you care about and love and those who love you, that you will decide that it is worth continuing, whether that be with me or just on your own, but it is worth continuing to make the changes that got you to this point. Because you're worth it, because they're worth it, because your life is worth it. You owe it to yourself, to your children, to your family, to everybody around you, to see who you can become, to see what the greatest version of you looks like. So if you are ready for that, shoot me a message. Let's get you into Chasing Greatness Daily. Let's start the process and let's see who you can be on the other side of that. As always, if you're not quite there yet, click the link in my bio, grab my top 10 tools to top 10 tools to transform your mental toughness. And lastly, if this spoke to you, if you're inspired, if you know you need to make this change, but you need a bit more convincing, hit that subscribe button. Let me know, let the algorithm know, and let everybody know. And to make sure that you do not miss a single episode, because I am here every single day, leading from the front, leading by example, and showing you the way. And I'll be back again tomorrow. Until then.